Okay, so yeah, like I said, we're going to start off with giving a bit of a context about where we are with our global energy consumption, why we're moving to new types of oh yeah, you can see that there. New types of new energy sources. So this is a graph showing global energy consumption, and it's since the Industrial Revolution, more or less. And it shows that the energy consumption is going up, and it also shows all different types of energy sources. So originally we got lots of our energy from biomass, so that's like, it was mainly from trees. And then as the Industrial Revolution came along, coal started to be used instead. That's this grey one at the bottom here. And then around like 1950-ish, oil started being used. Look.
This fella.
Oh dear.
Yes, I haven't got a hard time there. All right, thank you.
Cool. Yeah, and now we're up here, and we now get our energy from lots of different sources. So these are all the fossil fuels, and then nuclear, hydro, biomass, and some other bits. The main thing to take from this, I suppose, is that we're going up in our energy consumption, and it's going up quite rapidly. And hang on, I'm just going to see what the next slide is. Yeah. So global energy consumption is increasing, and as certain types of energy sources are starting to run low, we're getting pushed to more extreme forms of energy. So that's why some people call it extreme energy. It's extreme because the way of extracting it is much more difficult, causes more environmental problems, more social problems. Yeah. So the next thing I just want to talk about is, so why are we using more energy all the time? So one of the things you have to be very careful about is blaming it on population growth. So population is increasing, and some people say, well, that's why we're using more energy resources around the world. It's just because there's more people. But population growth and energy consumption are both symptoms of economic growth rather than being the causes. So the reason why we're consuming more resources is because we've got economies that are based on constant growth. We have to grow for an economy to be successful in the world as it is. Then it has to grow to compete. And the reason we've got population growth is largely because of inequalities of wealth. So lots of population growth is actually just driven by people trying to protect themselves from poverty. So yeah, this is also showing that the energy consumption per person is also increasing around the world as well. Yeah, so the thing to be particularly careful about with population growth is that it's a very convenient way of drawing attention away from all of the social and political causes of increased resource consumption and environmental damage. If you can just say, oh, it's just due to numbers of people, then it means you can avoid all the criticisms of your economic systems. And it also means that you can blame all of the problem on poor people around the world instead of rich people in the Western world taking responsibility for it. Yeah, I think that's enough on that. So yeah, this graph is also just showing that it shows the increase in energy consumption, and that's the real GDP, gross domestic product, which is just a gross domestic product, which is a measure of the size of the economy. So some people are trying to say that we can carry on with economic growth, and we can have lots of clever ways of reducing energy consumption whilst increasing the size of our economies. And that's basically not really possible. And lots of people who are committed to our economic systems try and suggest lots of ways that's going to happen, but it doesn't really work. And in fact, very, very recently, the energy consumption per GDP has also been going up, and that's partly because we're moving to more extreme energy sources. Right, yeah, so this is called the net energy cliff. To be honest, it's a little bit tricky to understand just on the face of it, so I'll try and talk you through it. All it's really saying is that the amount of energy that we have to put in to get energy out is going up all the time. So, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Sorry if this is a bit of a dumb question, but you know, in when they were closing down the mines in the 80s and
Yeah.
went on strike,
Yeah.
it wasn't clear to me whether the reason was that it wasn't going to be economic to run them anyway, or if Thatcher was just trying to defeat the unions. So did those, economically, did those mines have to fold anyway? Were we running out of coal there, or would it still have been, if they'd have put them into cooperatives as they did in one or two places, could they have still continued to run economically?
So the primary reason was very much about crushing the unions. That was Thatcher's reason for doing it. She just wanted to basically
Be the working class.
yeah, and have any opposition to her form of politics sort of crushed, which was unfortunately very effective. There is still quite a lot of coal left in the UK. The mines were like gradually getting less economical, but you probably could have mined them for a while longer. There is still a couple going actually, but they're very small. What we're actually going to do a bit later is talk about coal resources and a new form of technology called underground coal gasification, and that's particularly in the UK. And what that is a different technology to extract energy from coal. And one of the main problems there is a huge amount of coal left. There's an absolutely enormous amount of coal left around the world, and there's still quite a lot left in the UK as well. But kind of like you're saying, is becoming increasingly less economic to mine with, like, deep mining, and that's why we're getting lots more open pit mines where they just dig up the entire landscape, and also this new technology, underground coal gasification. But I'll get to that in a bit more detail later. Sorry, did that answer your question?
Thanks.
Okay. So
Could you explain that for me?
I will do my best to. Yeah.
I can't read it, you see.
Okay.
Well, I'm sitting with friends.
Well,
Well, we'll all move forward. No.
Your friends can move, couldn't they?
I'll just.
No, please go on.
I'll talk you through it. It's all right. So basically, as I was saying, all this is really saying is that the amount of energy we have to put in to get energy out is increasing all the time. So all the energy sources are getting less efficient. So up here, you see this pie chart. This is for historical oil and gas fields. So this is when we just started to move into extracting oil and gas. And it was actually very easy. All you had to really do was find the bits that were closest to the surface in very large amounts and drill a hole in it, and then it just comes out by itself. It's great. What's starting to happen is the new oil and gas ones here, they're getting less efficient. So you have to dig deeper, you have to go to more extreme environments, and it becomes harder and harder. Over here, so this is this pie chart. So the green bit here is how much energy you get out, and the little grey bit is how much you have to put in. And that's the same thing that's being shown by this curve here as well. So if we go over here, then we've got some things like wind, coal and nuclear. They all need a little bit more energy to put in than you get out. So for example, we have wind farms, you have to do quite a lot of construction involved in them and maintenance. And similarly with nuclear, like extracting uranium is quite difficult, and then running power stations also requires quite a lot of energy. The thing is with nuclear, this doesn't include is looking after all the radioactive waste afterwards. So if you included the energy used to do that, then it may well be down the bottom of the cliff somewhere. So the other thing that we're starting to do is move into these new types of fossil fuel. They're called unconventional fossil fuels. And and they have even worse net energy. So you have to put lots and lots of energy in, and you only get a little bit out. And there's even some down here where you have to put a huge amount of energy in, and you only get a little bit out. I think Pete's going to talk about biomass?
Yeah, principally, yeah.
So there's even some biofuels. So that's like a fuel you extract from. It's usually from a large agricultural crop. There's even some biofuels where you take the total amount of energy you put into it, so that includes stuff like fertilizers and all the machinery, everything. There's even some where you might have to put more energy in than you get out, which sounds like, well, how does that work as an energy source? And the only reason it works is because there's huge subsidies for it, so particularly in the States. So that's the general situation. Our energy consumption is continually going up. It's all being driven by I'll come to you in 1 second. It's all being driven by economic growth, which is, again, all being driven by political systems like capitalism. And at the same time, we're using up all the easy bits of energy to get, like all these historical oil and gas fields, and we're moving to these more and more extreme forms of energy. And this little dotted line down here is just an estimation. So different people estimate this to be a different amount, and what it's saying is there's some kind of limit where if you go beyond that, if your energy sources are less efficient than that, so this is about, well, it's something like 9 to 1, something like that. So for if you have to put